Southwest Airlines game break. There is Sam Cassell, who, in his brief time in Phoenix, played with Steve Nash. Steve Nash credits Sam with breaking him into the league as a rookie way back when. And those guys, two of the headliners in this series as the Suns and Clippers prepare to do battle in Game 2 of their Western Conference semifinal series. EJ and EJ, that's the real EJ. Urban Magic Johnson here as we get set to watch this. You got a good look at this Phoenix team when they took out the Lakers in the first round. Now, what do we look for after a 130 to 123 game one?
It's easy. For Phoenix, keep that pace up. They want to run and gun even more so than they did in game one. And for the Clippers, three guys are the key. Kaman has to play well. That means that the tempo can slow down in terms of for the Clippers. Also, look for Cassell and Mobley has to have a big game for them to win as well.
How do you, if you're Mike Dunleavy, how do you keep your team from getting sucked into that Phoenix style here?
Because that's what they do. They let you have easy baskets to think that, oh, we can continue to do this for 4 quarters. That's a lie. You can't do this. So what you have to do is pick and choose when you want to run, control the tempo, but pound that ball inside to Brand and Kaman. Hopefully, Kaman will have a big game for the Clippers and they can win. But I tell you what, look for Sean Marion, look for Diaw, and look for Tim Thomas also to have big game for Phoenix for them to win.
It's going to be good stuff tonight. The Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. It's time to go out to the desert, and we turn it over to the guy who will call this game, the inimitable Kevin Harlan.
Ernie, thank you, and welcome to Phoenix, Arizona, as this second-round Western Conference Series continues. It's the Los Angeles Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. Game 1 had the Suns winning by 7. Steve Nash put in 31. The Clippers were led by Elton Brand's 40. With Doug Collins and Craig Sager, this is Kevin Harlan as we look at tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by McDonald's.
Well, Kevin, a quick peek here. I think the guy that I want to take a look at early is Chris Kaman. You heard Magic Johnson talking about him. The one advantage he has is being able to get that ball in the post. He had only 3 field goals in game 1 and 4 turnovers. If he's going to be able to play in this series, he's going to have to get that ball in the lane, finish around the basket, give him some shot blocking and rebounding. Otherwise, Mike Dunleavy will have to go to a smaller lineup.
Phoenix shot 55% in that game 1, 6 in double figures, a very balanced Sun attack. Los Angeles scored their most points all season, 123, but it wasn't enough as the Suns reeled off their 4th consecutive win. Our officials tonight, Joe Crawford, Jack Neese, and Michael Smith, and we are underway. Led by Nash, who's picked up by Quentin Ross.
See if the Suns can get off to another great start. That's 2 games in a row. They run alley-oops for Sean Marion for dunks. The Clippers have not done a good job this year against the Suns defensively in the first quarter. They let them get running. They've got to try to slow them down here starting in the first quarter.
Mobley was 1 of 6 in that game, and here is Brand, who shoots over Marion and ties the game at 2.
Well, he was 18 of 22 the other night for 40 points. A magnificent performance. Starts out hitting his first shot here tonight.
Nash got a screen. And that is a foul. It goes on the Los Angeles Clippers. A little tough. And that will quickly be assessed on the perimeter and go on Kaman with his first.
Well, see, you've got Kaman trying to guard Sean Marion. There's no way in the world he can guard against that kind of quickness. Sean Marion fakes like he's coming to the free throw line, just goes right to the rim. The next play down, he puts it on the floor and gets a foul. So a dunk and an early foul on Kaman.
It's Raja Bell inside, got the pass from Nash. The rebound pulled down by Chris Kaman. And here comes Cassell, who scored 21 of his points in game 1 in the second half. One time hitting 5 consecutive shots. Mobley and Ross, who can knock down that jump shot and does for the Clippers.
A good start here for the Clippers. Important for Ross to be able to step up and make that shot because the Suns are going to roam off him and help in the post defensively.
Phoenix, the defending Pacific Division champion. They've won it 2 straight years. Here was a 3 by Bell and a rebound by the Clippers and Sam Cassell.
36 points from the 3-point line the other night for the Phoenix Suns. The Clippers would love to get that down under 30 if they can. Suns average 31 points a game at the three-point line in the regular season.
It's Coutinho Mobley with the rebound by James Jones, who, when he began as a starter midway through that Lakers series, changed this Phoenix team around. Thomas is coming off the bench. They go inside to Diaw. That is a 3-second violation.
Kevin, pretty good defensive start here for the Clippers. They forced a couple turnovers, doing a better job of containing in the paint. They gave up 48 points in the paint the other night. They can't do that tonight. They've got to cut back on their fouls a little bit. They put to the line the Suns there 25 times. They made 24 points. They're going to get that number down. That's how you start cutting into the Suns' points.
Here's Kaman, who quickly draws the double. And with the shot clock down to 4, it's Quentin Ross out of SMU. The shot was rejected by Sean Marion. 3-on-2 with Marion. Holman, dribbling violation. Look at Mike D'Antoni. That is the second foul, or turnover, I should say, for the Phoenix Suns. Mike D'Antoni, last year's NBA Coach of the Year, turned 55 a couple days ago. And Sam Cassell, 36-year-old Sam Cassell.
See, Sam can back Steve Nash down and shoot over the top of him. He loves to play against smaller guards. Look for him to get down in that post tonight and get Nash buried on that baseline defensively.
Now they've got Mobley on Nash. Ross is planted inside the lane, and Steve Nash with that beautiful looking little float shot. The other afternoon, he was 10 of 15.
Well, Mobley did everything right there. Nash just made a spectacular shot.
Here's Brand. Ross, nice fake, and Bell bit. Rebounded by Steve Nash on the baseline for the Phoenix Suns.
James Jones is going to be the guy helping off of Ross. That's why I said before he's going to get a lot of open jump shots.
Diaw to Sean Marion.
Not even close. He was the only guy who didn't shoot it well the other night. 0 for 4 from the three-point line. He's shooting under 30%.
And Cassell hits another. So he has started 2 of 2, 4 points in 4 minutes, and the Clippers by 4. Nash to an open Marion, who has struggled in first halves of not only this series, but the Los Angeles Lakers series that preceded it. Ross inside. Some people thought he may have traveled. Brand finding Kaman inside, who shook the defense of James Jones.
That's the kind of patience you have to have. Make the extra pass, get it inside, have the powerful finish. Now the Suns have to take the ball out of the net to try to run.
Marion again. This is a 3. Sean Marion has started 1 of 4. Coutinho Mobley put back up in by Brand. Great start for the Clippers, up by 8.
Yeah, more importantly, defensively, they've only given up 4 points.
Nash. It was always Nash.
Oh, my. So the Clippers have got to do a better job trying to guard that basket.
Clippers beat the Denver Nuggets in round 1, 4 games to 1. Suns, as we mentioned, took care of the Los Angeles Lakers in 7, 4 games to 3. The shot by Ross. The Clippers are shooting 64% from the field.
They shot 59% for the game the other night. Here's another alley-oop. This time, Marion misses an easy shot.
Mobley inside, and Coutinho Mobley with 5 minutes in his first 2. And a timeout taken, and Mike D'Antoni is ticked off. This start is not what he wanted to see. They're down by 10. In the game the other day, the Suns led by as many as 13 and trailed by as many as 8. This is the biggest series deficit so far for the Phoenix Suns. And a timeout on TNT. The Los Angeles Clippers making their first playoff appearance in '97, first second-round appearance since the '70s. And Doug, the keys tonight for both teams in this second game.
Well, you know, if you think about Phoenix, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They scored 130 points in game 1. Over the last 4 since they were facing elimination, they've been averaging almost 123. And for the Clippers, avoid temptations. You heard Magic Johnson talk about limiting quick shots, run selectively. Well, they've done that tonight. They have 10 of their 16 points in the paint. Get that ball inside, shoot a high percentage. And they've got to take something away from the Suns. 24 free throws made, 48 points in the paint, and 36 from the three-point line. Mike Dunleavy feels like they can do a better job defending the paint and take away that free throw line advantage. And if they do that, he feels like they can still live with a lot of threes and win this basketball game.
Clippers have already made a change. Their starting center, Kaman, is out. Radmanovic has taken his place. A rejection by Brand. He had 4 blocks the other night. Here comes Cassell the other way into Nash and finding 2. Sam Cassell has started 3 of 3, 6 points in 6 minutes. And here comes Nash. A 6-0 little run here by the Clippers, who now move Brand to the center and Radmanovic to the power forward. It's Nash with a long 3 and a rebound by Mobley.
0 for 4 now from the three-point line. The Clippers are doing what they want to do. Walking the ball up here is Cassell. They've run for layups. They have 12 points in the paint of their 18. Perfect start for Mike Dunleavy and the Clippers.
What do you think about Kaman leading so early as Cassell is inside?
Well, I think he's coming. He's going to give Radmanovic a look. He's been having a little bit of a sore knee. You see the little sleeve on his right leg. And he feels like that in the game the other night, even though his shots didn't show it, that he did a good job defensively with a lot of the different coverages that they have in their pick and roll. So I think he wants to give him a quick look. You know, Mike likes to get guys in the game early so that he can count on them as the game goes along.
Keeping them involved.
Absolutely.
The personal foul is called on Diaw for the first time as you look at the former lottery pick Kaman, who has been a vital part of the Los Angeles Clippers' successful season.
It's a tough cover. You know, you saw it last series with the Lakers. You know, you can start out and you think you've got an advantage inside. When you're big man, one of them has to guard either Marion outside like Kaman, or if you have to guard a Tim Thomas or a Diaw, now you're chasing out on the floor. And if you're not scoring in the paint, you really become more of a liability than you do an asset.
You mentioned Tim Thomas has just come in the game. Diaw is gone. James Jones is gone. Leandro Barbosa is in for the first time. Here comes Thomas, who's been very efficient with his minutes. And that is a whistle, which stops that shot. Foul is called inside. It's on the Los Angeles Clippers. Looked like perhaps Radmanovic picked it up. The Clippers have had a couple of first-quarter runs of 6-0 and 8-0. And it was a defensive 3-second. So it's a technical, and Nash will be at the free throw line. He was the #1 free throw shooter in the NBA this year.
Well, you know, Kevin, you talked about Tim Thomas a while ago. He started the first few games of the Lakers series and actually played well. Game 1, he had 22 points and 15 rebounds. But when he came off the bench with Barbosa, he gave that bench such a big lift. The bench from the Suns were really struggling. And James Jones did a nice job as a starter. That really swung that series around. A lot like what Avery Johnson did last night, moving Devin Harrison to the starting line.
Nash inside with the left hand that time. So Nash is leading all scores with his 7 points so far. There's always a great storyline coming into the series, what Nash would do on the defensive end. We know what he can do on the offensive side. Lakers didn't make him work much on the defensive end. Here's Radmanovic.
That's a bad shot. See, that shot was contested. Move the ball when you're struggling. Get an easy one.
Marion had the block. And Raja Bell gets it off to Tim Thomas. And Thomas with a tap in by Sean Marion.
See, but Elton Brand is guarding Tim Thomas, who's out on the floor. So now your best rebounder and shot blocker is out on the floor. Nobody to clean up the board. Marion has that advantage.
He's so quick inside. Thomas is on Brand. Radmanovic with the rebound and missing the point blank shot. And here's Brand trying to eat it up, and he does. Here comes Barbosa. And Marion. And Thomas, a screen by Nash to set up that jump shot, and Thomas gets off.
Oh, he's been shooting the ball unbelievably well in the playoffs, Kevin. Now that's 19 of 40 from the three-point line. He's made more threes than anybody on the Suns. The other night he got in foul trouble. He had 12 points in only 15 minutes.
Here's Cassell. Radmanovic, whose forte is that three-point shot acquired in mid-February. And shooting the three just extends this team so much, this Clipper team. There is a foul. The drive was by the fleet-footed Barbosa. The foul is called on Elton Brand, and he picks up his first personal foul.
Sean Marion penetrating, and the nice screen there by Steve Nash to bump off Vladimir Romanovich. But just to give you an idea how the Suns play, Romanovich hits a three from the corner, and in 3 seconds, Barbosa is getting fouled on a layup on the other end. So they are not going to relax. Even if you score, they're going to keep the pace of the game up. Barbosa misses a free throw, Kevin. It's been amazing what they have done at the foul line. Barbosa was 28 for 29 until that miss. The Suns are shooting over 90%, which is obviously best in the playoffs. They shot 80% in the regular season, which was the best in the league.
And Doug, in wins, and they've had 5 wins in these playoffs so far, Barbosa has shot 61% in those winning games from the field.
Well, he and Diao, their numbers really have been the barometer of success because you're getting it from Nash and Marion, a lot of the other guys. Those two guys, though, really, when they play well, the Suns don't lose.
Shot clock at 6 for Mobley. Guarded by Barbosa. Rebound by Radmanovic. That time he puts it in. So he's come off the bench as Vlade Radmanovic with 5 points in 3 minutes.
He's had a couple offensive rebounds. He missed a point-blank shot, so he's very, very active. This is what Mike Dunleavy was hoping for.
The Clippers on the glass, Doug, have been very effective so far. +8 so far for LA. Shot clock at 5 for Nash. Bell over Cassell. Rebound by Marion.
We've got Sean Marion activity once again. He's going to give his team a look at a three.
Rebound by Brand.
Suns not shooting well here to start this game from the three-point line.
Wide open, Radmanovic, whacked by Marion, and a foul. So counted for 2. Radmanovic will go to the free throw line. That's the first foul on Sean Marion of the Phoenix Suns.
Well, if you were Mike Dunleavy and you were laying up in your hotel room trying to script this game, this is the way you want to start. You're getting layups, you're getting dunks, you're getting points in the paint. The three-point shooting is not going for the Phoenix Suns right now. You're off to a great start. Vladimir Romanovich has come off the bench. He's playing well. You're shooting 59%. Now the question is going to be, can you keep this up for 48 minutes?
Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together.
.46 block shots, 602 steals, 150,000 sit-ups, 42,000 bench presses, 1,800 pounds lost. All for the Detroit Pistons to earn the right to keep on playing.
Go, go!
The NBA playoffs.
Clippers haven't turned the ball over. Right now they're enjoying their biggest lead of the night, 14 points. Time to check in with our Craig Sager for tonight's Gatorade Around the Cooler report. Craig?
Well, on Doug's keys, we saw for Phoenix, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the way Mike D'Antoni felt. Yesterday's practice, short but quick pace for 30 minutes to keep loose and maintain rhythm. As for the Clippers, Mike Dunleavy spent Monday night with his assistants and video coordinators breaking down the Game 1 loss. Yesterday, a grueling film session followed by an intense 2-hour practice. He then finished it, reminding his team, as he has so many times this year, of the 6 Ps. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Kevin?
That's a lot of P's. Thank you, Craig. You know, the Clippers and the Suns had 4 regular season games, each winning 2. In fact, in the last regular season meeting, the Clippers won on this floor in early April.
And they did it. They actually scored 118 points, but Elton Brand was terrific, 34 and 15. There's another turnover by the Suns. They are very sloppy tonight. Sean Livingston is in the game. He was terrific in that game, 12 points and 13 assists. The other night he had 9 assists and played very, very well.
And Corey Maggette is coming too, Doug, with Brandon there, Maggette, Radmanovic, Cassell, and Sean Livingston.
Well, this is a tough lineup now for the Clippers. I love Maggette coming off the bench. You've got Cassell to score. Sean Livingston can make plays. Radmanovic spreads the floor, and you got Elton Brand in the low post. I think this might be their most potent team.
Eddie House is coming for the first time for the Phoenix Suns. Boris Diaw is back in the game. That shot by Cassell, who's got 10 in 9 minutes. Now they have Cassell on House. Brand is on Diaw. Now Livingston has gone on House, and Cassell is on Barbosa.
The Suns would love to see Eddie House get back in the swing of things. Really struggled against the Lakers. Only played a few minutes tonight. This guy, Tim Thomas, has been terrific. But Eddie House was such a big guy off the bench for them this year. Averaged almost 10 points a game. In the playoffs, averaging about 2 a game, and they really have smothered him and taken away that quick shot of his.
He had a couple good shots in that Game 7 against the Lakers in the 4th quarter, but he couldn't carry it over to Game 1 of this series.
So he only played 4 minutes in the first game. Here's Cassell in that lane again. He loves to get in that lane and make shots.
Diaw, Bell, Barbosa.
They're going to keep shooting him. They're going to let him go. I mean, they might shoot 37, 38, 39 threes tonight if the Clippers are getting back there to try to defend that paint. The question is going to be what kind of percentage are they going to make here tonight.
Here's Livingston, who you think is the X factor for the Los Angeles Clippers. He's got it inside right now.
Look at that pass.
To Brand. But Brand always gets his miss and now is fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line. But the Livingston story is an interesting story for the Clippers.
Well, first of all, he's grown by leaps and bounds as the season has gone along. Started out training camp this year, got hurt again, and they go, here we go again. This kid's going to be hurt all the time. Missed the first 21 games, but he has really lifted his play. The last 2 games against Denver, he was terrific. The other night, Kevin, he was 5 of 8 from the floor, had 9 assists. Did turn the ball over 3 times, but he's got size, he's got quickness, and he gives him a lot of versatility.
The foul went on Tim Thomas. He picked up his first. Brand at the line nails his first. 7 points and 5 rebounds so far for Brand. Friday, ESPN, Miami, New Jersey, and Phoenix and the Clippers. And Saturday on ABC, San Antonio and Dallas. Brand again, picked up by Thomas. Phoenix at 42% from the field. Boris Diaw over Brand. And that is saying something because Brand has got a long reach.
Yes, he does. He's one of the better shot blockers in the NBA, but also shows you the growth of Boris Diaw. He has the confidence now to put the ball on the floor and make that kind of play, something he didn't do early in the year.
That's Brand.
And that shows you what he's done with his game. He steps out on the floor now, can make 17, 18-foot jump shots. Could not do that before this season.
Clippers had a foul to give, and Cassell was right there defending. Brand was defending too. Cassell picks up the foul.
Boris Diaw has got quickness and size. Tried to play as a point guard in Atlanta, playing against quicker players. Sort of fell into this position when Amari Stoudemire got hurt this year. Mike D'Antoni found a great role for him. He became the most improved player in the league and is on his way to being an all-star if he keeps up this.
Slashing Barbosa. Maggette picked it up. Cassell racing the other way. Not getting caught up in the Phoenix tempo. That's one thing. That's a good offensive rebound by Cassell, who scoops it home and is fouled on the play.
Right now, the sense of purpose and this whole game is going to the Clippers, and that's what happens usually when you're down 1-0, you're on the road, you know you can't go down 2-0. No block out there by Eddie House. You give Sam Cassell an easy score, possible 3-point play. You look at the scoring up there now, Kevin. This is the 6th time these teams have played this year. 4 the regular season, the Suns scored at least 30 in every quarter. The other night they had 29. Remember I talked about getting a defensive quarter to start this game? Suns only 22 points. The Clippers have to be thrilled. They're up 16. More importantly, defensively, they're playing well and defending the paint.
Diaw had picked up his 2nd personal foul. The Clippers have their highest scoring quarter of the playoffs. Walter McCarty has come in for the first time in this series, taking the place of Brand. Winding down the first quarter. Here's Bell and Barbosa. McCarty is on Barbosa. Good pass. Bell for 3. At the buzzer, that takes us to the conclusion of the first. The Los Angeles Clippers shot a blistering 55%, led by the 13 points in 12 minutes of Sam Cassell. They got nice contribution by Radmanovich off the bench with 8, and at the end of 1 and down 1 game to none, the Los Angeles Clippers lead the Phoenix Suns 38-22. Taking a 16-point lead at the end of 1. We go to quarter 2 here in Phoenix tonight.
Well, they've done it with defense. Only 22 points, Kevin, in the first quarter, but how about the field goal percentage? You saw what it was in game 1. Tonight they're shooting 41% of 9 of 22, 2 of 8 from the three-point line, 25%. Kevin, the Clippers have 0 turnovers. The Suns have 3 for 4 points. So the other night, 20 points off turnovers for the Suns. Tonight, none. They played a perfect first quarter. They shot a high percentage. They had 20 points in the paint, 12 on second chance, 9 fast breaks. Everything they wanted to do, they did. The Suns better lock down their defense.
Walter McCarty on the fly. Mobley with the rebound and puts it back up and in. And Mobley is a different player, it looks tonight. 2 of 5, 4 points.
14-2, second chance points. So the Clippers are missing. They're getting the rebounds and sticking them back in. Now think about this. They're shooting 55%, Kevin, and have 14 second chance points.
Eddie House with the miss. Rebound by Livingston, who is out there with Maggette, Radmanovic, Mobley, and McCarty. That's knocked out of bounds. Shot clock at 21. And Segs, what do you have with the Clippers inbounding over by you?
I have something about Clippers, but not the LA Clippers. It's nail Clippers. Raja Bell was 0 for 5, came over to the bench, told the trainers that his fingers didn't feel right. He then asked for a nail clipper, and he's filing his fingernails down. Something I'm not used to seeing in an NBA game in the first quarter.
Well, when you're missing, Sags, you got to look at something, buddy. So maybe you can trim those nails and start making some shots. But right now, it's not about make shots as much as it's defending the Clippers. They are just having their own way to start this game.
LeBron doesn't use clippers, does he? He's gnawing away on those fingers. Here's Diaw. McCarty is on him. Nash to Tim Thomas. Picked up by Corey Maggette. Sizable advantage on the glass by the Los Angeles Clippers so far. Plus 12. A 3 Mobley. A rebound by Nash. Nash in the series with the Lakers as a runner is up and in by Barbosa. We talked about Barbosa shooting 61% in wins. Nash, basically the entire playoffs, has been over 60% from the floor.
Well, you can see what Mike D'Antoni's doing. He's not going to go back to his bench right now. He's getting the guys out there that are performing. Came right back with Steve Nash. Only gave him about a 30-second rest, so he does not have time to dig himself a huge hole. Here's Radmanovic. Again, that's a quick shot. I don't like that shot from long three-point range. He doesn't need that. Get anything they want inside right now. There's no need to fire up long jump shots. That's that shot discipline that Magic Johnson talks about.
Oh, what a play by Leandro Barbosa, weaving his way for 2. Had to curl around a couple of Clippers defending inside. Such a great first step for Barbosa. It's McCarty. Livingston had a nice screen, giving him that shot. Rebound by Diaw. And Nash the other way. These two teams battled for the top of the Pacific Division, but the Clippers faltered halfway through and lost it. And for a second consecutive time, the Suns won the Pacific Division. There is a foul. It goes on Livingston, and he is hit with his first for LA.
Look at him just weave through traffic. He sort of grabbed that ball like a halfback so it couldn't be knocked loose. I thought Steve Nash had a great line today. He said, you know what? He said, I'd love to be as fast as this guy for one day. And he said, I made a deal with him. I'll lend him my car if he'll give me his wheels.
That is a good line.
You know, it's like what it would be like. And like Steve Nash is not a guy that, you know, you would trade your game for, that's for sure. But this Barbosa has been terrific. Sean Marion has been great in the second half, Kevin, as you can see. But the first halves, he has struggled. Mike Dunleavy has come right back to Elton Branson. You can see both of these coaches do not want to go through many droughts. About 3 possessions for the Clippers, no score. Elton comes right back in for Walter McCarty.
They got Thomas on Brand. Marion is on Maggette. Double by Barbosa. Radmanovic. Corey Maggette, a great slashing player, great driving player. And that is a turnover. That's the first turnover by the Los Angeles Clippers tonight. And the Suns will come the other way on a 6-0 run.
They get a score here. I think you'll see Mike Dunleavy maybe take a timeout and try to calm him down a little bit.
Steve Nash has just made an assist on his first basket tonight. He had 13 the other night. Barbosa's come off the bench with 6 points in the quarter, and he's got 10 for the game for the Phoenix Suns.
Well, he's the guy right now that's giving him any spark at all. He's getting to the rim. He's getting layups. He's just so quick. And he can step out and shoot that 3-point shot. One of the things the Clippers did a great job in that first quarter, Kevin. The Suns only shot 3 free throws. Remember, they shot 25 in game 1, made 24. And Mike Dunleavy said, we've got to stop fouling and keep them out of the penalty. That's where it really hurts us. They get into the penalty and they're such great free throw shooters. We've got to do a better job of not fouling.
Suns bench has actually scored more points than their 5 starters. Here's Mobley. Inside of Barbosa, knocked away by Tim Thomas. And the shot clock is down to 8. A timeout will be taken. 8:55 to play. The Phoenix Suns clawing their way back, now down by 11. They trail by as many as 17. 9-0 run by Phoenix in this second game in the Western Conference semifinals. Fans, be sure to participate in tonight's text message question. Who made the most impressive playoff debut? A, LeBron, B, Elton Brand, or C, Diaw? A, B, or C to 88222. Doug, if you took a look at the Phoenix Suns on a chart, highs and lows in this way and that way, what would you see?
Well, you know, they're a quick shooting team, so when they're up 15, they'll let you back in the game because they're going to keep shooting. And if you're up 15, you can't relax because they can get right back in the game. We've already seen a 20-point lead cut down to 11. They've had 9-0 run here in a minute 43. Here's a walk on Kaman, who is back in the game. So he and Elton Brand on the floor once again, going back to the big lineup. But they've already had a 9-0 run here in a minute 43. That's how quickly they score. So you can't relax. If you've got a lead, you've got to be smart. And if they're behind, you've got to stay tough defensively.
Bogdanovich is out, as Doug just said. Kaman is in the game. Cassell remains out. Here's a Nash pass to Thomas and a Thomas pass to Marion. And a foul called on Corey Maggette. That is the first on Corey Maggette. Only 2 threes so far by the Phoenix Suns. 13 points by Cassell, leads the entire game. 11 points by Barbosa, leads Phoenix.
But you can see Phoenix starting to work themselves back into the game, starting to get into a rhythm.
Wide open Nash. Livingston didn't go to guard. Rebound by Kaman.
Now Nash very seldom misses that open shot. He's about an 80% shooter with that kind of open jump shot.
Boy, haven't the Suns been hot over the last 4 games.
Like Mike D'Antoni said, it might have been the best stretch of basketball since look here at Tim Thomas. I don't know if he hurt his knee or what, but he buckled underneath the basket. Remember, he's had problems with that leg. He's limping right now. We'll have to keep our eye on him. I think Raja Bell is going to get ready to come into the game.
Clippers getting it in for the first time in about 3 minutes from the field. Yep, you're looking at Tim Thomas, who trying to get his short sign straight. Livingston just picked up his second personal foul. Raja Bell sets the check in for Phoenix.
Well, he just fell underneath the basket. It looked like he was sort of by himself, so I don't know what happened on the play. I just saw him fall down, and he sort of slid underneath the basket to get out of the way.
How efficient was he the other night?
Oh, my goodness. You know, terrific. 12 points in less than 15 minutes, 5 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 5 from 3.
Here's Marion. The Clippers already have 14 fouls. A shot by Nash will go in, and that is significant because, as you mentioned just seconds ago, when the Suns get to the line, they rarely miss. Livingston is scoreless so far. He's fouled as he tried to penetrate the paint. Nash picks up his first.
Watch here. Oh, you see him. He just sort of kicked him on, and his left ankle rolled over a little bit, so it was not his knee. His left ankle, you see he's got a brace there. He's just tightening it up, and I'm sure he'll be okay and be able to come back in the game here soon.
Kaman. Plus 12 in rebounding for the LA Clippers, and Brand has 11.
That's 18 second chance points.
That's 11 points for Brand. Diaw diving inside. Maggette picked up his second personal foul for the Clippers.
Well, when you get in the lane, all kinds of good things happen. Maggette tried to take the offensive foul, could not get it. Kevin, on that last post-up, although Kaman did not score, he brought another defender over with him, and Elton Brand there was by himself for the offensive rebound. So going into the post forces Phoenix to come over and help, and then it leaves Elton Brand there when Marion came over to help, all alone underneath for an offensive rebound. They have 18 second chance points, and they're shooting 50%.
Clippers lead, points in the paint, obviously. Rebounding has been there, as we talked about. Here's Maggette. Bell was defending and knocked it away. Nash, a three. Rebound by Mobley.
And Mike Dunleavy, very upset, thought that Corey Maggette got fouled on that last play.
Tino Mobley, 2 of 7. He was 1 of 6 in game 1. A rebound by Kamen. And here is where he can really make a difference.
If he wants to play, that's what he has to do. Get on the boards, get in the paint, and pound inside. Kevin, 20 second chance points. 20. They have 30 points in the paint.
20 of their 48 for the Clippers. That's a 2. Diaw with the miss. Livingston with the rebound. The quick trigger to Maggette at the other end.
Well, that's not a good shot, although they're going to get another offensive rebound. I mean, they are just pounding the Suns on the paint, in the paint right now. Bad pass here by Steve Nash. They are out of sync, and the Clippers have imposed their will in that paint tonight. This is exactly what Mike Dunleavy wanted to have happen. Mike D'Antoni with a look of consternation right now in his face. He was not happy at halftime the other night going in.
Right.
He's going to be very unhappy tonight.
15 more rebounds by the Clippers over the Phoenix Suns. And the Clippers are doing what the Lakers wanted to do, but the Lakers couldn't achieve it with inside play and second chance points.
Well, the Lakers' big men aren't as good as
right.
the Clipper big men. That's the difference. The Lakers' game plan was great, but for 7 games, they weren't able to sustain it.
Barbosa the foul, and the Clippers are so long. We talked about this in game 1. It would surprise people the size of this team.
Well, Elton Brand is 6'8", but he has a wingspan that's actually bigger than Chris Kaman, who's 7 feet tall. And, you know, Chris Kaman tonight is now playing with a purpose. Maybe going over there and sitting down early. Mike Dunleavy got his attention because the team played very well without him, but they're going to need him. They need him inside. Going right into the paint now to Livingston. He's going to post up Steve Nash.
There's Livingston's first shot of the game. Just beyond the halfway point in this second quarter. Down a game, the Los Angeles Clippers have come out with the same kind of arsenal they did in game 1. It's the Suns who are faltering just a bit. Timeout. In tonight's Toyota Moving Forward, we examine the spectacular free throw shooting of the Phoenix Suns with incredible eye-popping numbers from Jones, Barbosa, Marion Bell, Nash, and Diaw. So the fact that the Clippers are already in the penalty, they were there at the 7:21 mark of the second quarter, shows you the one fear that Dunleavy has, putting guys like Nash on the line can cause a lot of problems.
Well, these are big problems right now for the Phoenix Suns. It's the Clippers' dominance inside. They have 10 more offensive rebounds. They're plus 20 second chance points. They're plus 16 points in the paint. And the Suns have only made 1 more 3. If they don't have a huge disparity at that three-point line in their favor, they're going to struggle to win this game tonight.
Alley-oop Barbosa to Diaw. Sam Cassell has come back in the game for the Los Angeles Clippers with 5.5 to play in the half. Kaman looking for Brand, broken up on the play. Here comes Nash with a couple of assists. Deflected by Livingston. Diaw and Barbosa.
Mike Dunleavy is so upset at Chris Kaman. Instead of making the simple play, he tries a behind-the-back pass that is picked off. When you're leading, just make the simple play.
It's Mobley for 2, and Coutinho Mobley has now gone 4 of 10, 8 points and 5 rebounds.
Well, they really needed him, especially in a game when you got to play a lot of small guys. Remember, he was only 1 of 6 in game 1 for 3 points.
Brand picked up a foul on the perimeter for the Clippers. That's the second on Elton Brand. Nash will be at the line. They're in the penalty.
Kevin, you get caught so often playing against the Suns where you only have one big guy on the floor and you match with a lot of small guys. That's why your small players have to come up big against the Suns. A lot of time you're playing small ball, you can only get one guy on the floor. And tonight, Mobley's playing well. Radmanovic is playing well. They've done a nice job pounding the ball inside to the big man, but they've gotten a nice lift from the perimeter. Sam Cassell is playing well. So actually the perimeter of the Clippers is outplaying the Suns tonight in this first half.
And showing the overall balance with their lineup, as Phoenix has shown the last 4 games in their 4-game winning streak.
Especially inside. They're really just so dominant tonight inside.
Brandon Thomas. Kaman picked up by Diaw. He's 6'8" against the 7-footer Kaman. He gets it to roll again, and Kaman dug 4 of 5, 8 points and 6 rebounds.
See, because there was a double team, they were rotating, and Sam Cassell made a great pass and found him in the lane, but that's because they double teamed against Elton Brand.
Nash against Livingston. The open Thomas for 3. And Brand with the rebound, collecting his 7th with 11 points.
What a play by Livingston, and knocked that ball away from the defender.
Mobley and Kaman were 2 guys that you had circled before the game.
Well, you see now they had Nash in the post. They want to just back him down and try to make him defend. What a shot by Steve Nash. Comes right back and makes a spectacular 360. Suns have to be worried right now, though, with their defense. And Mike D'Antoni said we've got to do a better job defensively tonight. That has not been the case.
Foul inside. Diaw is trying to defend Kaman. Tim Thomas was working on Elton Brand. It could have gone either way, and a second foul is tagged on Thomas.
Look at this whirling dervish. Look at this. Elton Brand comes over. He's falling down. He shoots it over his outstretched hand. It's a big here, 3:29, Kevin, going into halftime. Can the Suns cut into this lead and maybe get it down to 6 or 8, get it a working margin? And for the Clippers, you want to keep right where you are or build on this going into halftime, have a nice lead.
Sean Marion is checked in for Tim Thomas for the Phoenix Suns as Livingston finds Mobley. And stripped of the ball and fouled on the play. Looked like maybe Bell got a hand on him. He did, and was hit with his first personal foul. So Coutinho Mobley will go to the free throw line.
Well, Mobley struggled in game 1. We've talked about that, only 1 field goal tonight. He's been terrific. On the flip side of that, Raja Bell was great in game 1, Kevin. He actually was 8 of 15, 4 of 8 from 3, had 22 points tonight. He has not scored.
Mobley's first trip to the stripe tonight. 5 of 6 as a team, the Clippers are from the line. The Suns are 7 of 9. Mobley, who has bounced around a little bit, but signed the largest non-Clipper free agent contract in the history of the organization. Another sign that, as you see some numbers on Mobley, another sign that the Clippers are beginning anew as they've signed guys like Brand and getting a big contract, and then there goes Mobley right after that.
Well, he can play one-on-one. He's strong enough to post a smaller player. He can shoot the 3, and was very important defensively in that first series against Carmelo Anthony.
Nash. Marion had it. Brand grabs it. But how easy would it be just to get caught up in the pace of the Phoenix Suns? There's a foul. It's on Kaman. Away from the ball, and he crashes into Bell. Kaman picks up his second, Doug.
Well, you see Sam Cassell talking to him about, those are unforced errors. We want to come down, use the clock, and get ourselves a shot. Now you give the ball right back to the Suns. We're trying to cut into this lead.
Clippers have 4 turnovers. All have come in the second quarter. Diaw looking inside. Another Phoenix turnover. The defense of the Clippers much better tonight, and they were a good defensive team in the regular season. Elton Brand.
Well, they're defending the paint. 48 paint points for the Suns in game 1. Tonight, that's not the case.
Bell over Cassell. The Phoenix Suns, 3 of 10 shooting 3-point shots. There's a 2-pointer by Bell. He's got his first 2 of the game. Raja Bell is 1 of 6. Sean Marion picks up his second personal foul. We got 2:16 to play in the first half. The Clippers have led by as many as 20. The Suns have had a meager lead of 2. Timeout.
And second chance points, minus 20, 22-2. So, I mean, you see those numbers don't lie. That's why when you look up, the Clippers have 60 points. And interestingly enough, Kevin, going into the quarter, this second quarter, of the 5 quarters that have been played in this series, the Clippers have scored 30 or more in 4 of them. So the Suns are getting no stops at all. They're hoping right now just to outscore them, and tonight they're down 15.
Kamen with the rebound.
Where you can feel the crowd too. When the Suns don't shoot well, it's like somebody's taken a balloon and let all the air out of it. This crowd so thrives on them shooting and running, especially that three-point line.
Livingston dancing inside. Kamen with another rebound. A tip in by Livingston. More second chance points.
Well, they're shooting 52%, and when they miss, they get it back and score.
And Sean Marion, and fouled, and Kamen picked it up.
See, you can't, I mean, Kamen, there's no way he can play against that kind of quickness. I mean, I can understand his frustration. He catches the ball down on the post. Sometimes he's trying to get his shot off so quickly. It's a tough matchup for him.
Kamen picks up his third. Ernie Johnson with a minute 39 to play here in the first half as we send it to you in our TNT Arena.
Thanks, Kev. Southwest Airlines game break. The T-Mobile halftime report comes your way in just a couple of minutes. Kenny and Charles and Magic will be here to break down the first half, and we'll show you how Miami tied things up with the Nets in the East. Back to you.
Great. Thank you, EJ. Leading score, 14 points. Barbosa off the Phoenix bench for Phoenix, 14 for Cassell for the Los Angeles Clippers. Radmanovich against Marion. Marion grabs his third rebound with his 8 points tonight. Bell, look how open he is. That's a three by Raja Bell.
That's where they catch you. When they can get a clean rebound and run, they run to that three-point line, and your mismatch, you're trying to talk to cover it, and you're so used to running back that you've got to be able to get that three-point line and defend those shots.
It's a Mobley 2. Bell was defending. Offensive rebound by Livingston. The Clippers now have 13 offensive rebounds tonight.
So you want to go to the post to Cassell here, the double team.
Rejected by Diaw.
Nice play by Diaw on the defensive end.
Nash, Barbosa. Oh, what a pass! Marion couldn't complete it.
Well, Sean Marion cannot get one to go tonight in the first half. It's sort of his whole playoff modus operandi is great second halves. Tonight, 3 of 9, he has 8 points and just can't get it to go.
No fouls to give either way. A second difference between the game clock and the shot clock winding down the second quarter. Livingston, such a good move, and he beat the shot clock buzzer. It's a 14-point Clipper lead. Barbosa good if it goes. And that takes us to halftime. Clippers look great.
Well, how about it? You're trying to cut into the lead. You make it, instead of making it 10, you miss a layup. They come down and get a layup. Little 4-point swing there, pushes to 14. Mike Dunleavy has to be thrilled.
65 points in the Clippers' very abbreviated playoff history. Clippers shot 49%, and Cuttino Mobley, one of those players that Doug Collins had circled tonight. Watch his performance, and we have been watching. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, we talked about how you struggled in game 1, 1 for 6. Tonight you start out the same way, 1 for 4, but suddenly you start going to the basket, slashing, getting layups, tip-ins, getting fouled. What was the difference tonight?
Well, I just try to be aggressive, man. 1 for 6, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it wasn't me. You know what I mean? I needed more shots. I had to be aggressive. I got to kind of push it. I had to kind of push it for myself. So, you know what I mean? Crashing the boards because Barbosa and Bell a little shorter. So, you know, I just wanted to be aggressive, that's all.
Everybody says you can't run with the Suns. You can't keep up the pace. But you guys got 65 points in the first half. Are you going to keep pushing it?
Well, no, we're not really, they're pushing the ball for real. We just opportunity pushes. So, I don't know. We're just going to keep pounding it down. I'm staying in the post. EB's going to stay in the post. Chris came in. We'll see what we can do.
All right, thanks a lot. Keep pounding it and tipping in the misses. Let's go to EJ in our TNT Arena in Atlanta.
Thank you, Segs. It is the T-Mobile halftime report as the Clippers try to equalize this Western Conference semifinal series in the Valley of the Sun, and they lead at 65-51 at the break. Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, Charles Barkley, and the Hall of Famer Magic Johnson, who before the game said, hey, the Clippers got to get some good nights out of Chris Kaman, out of Sam Cassell, out of Cuttino Mobley, who was 1 out of 6 in the first game, and these guys are stepping up.
Well, because, see, Sam sets the tone for everybody. He came out on fire in the beginning. Then Mobley, even though he didn't shoot well, 1 for 4 in the beginning, he caught fire too as well. And Kaman is so big, Ernie, that even if he doesn't shoot the ball and he misses, he can push his man up under the board, and that's what he's doing, and get the offensive rebound. Or if one of his teammates shoot, he can push his man up under the board and get the offensive rebound. And he's doing a good job of throwing his body around tonight, which he didn't do in Game 1.
In Game 1, he had 8 points and 7 rebounds for the game. He has 8 and 8 in the first half of this one. Doug Collins said in here the Clippers were imposing their will in the paint, getting all the offensive rebounds, lots of second chance points, etc. tonight.
Well, you know, everyone talked about how to beat the Phoenix Suns was to slow the game down. But another way to beat the Phoenix Suns is, like Magic says, like Doug says, and like I'm saying, is the offensive rebounding, because they really are poor defensive rebounding team. If you catch them, see, if you freeze it right here, you'll see that there's openings all over the place. You see Elton Brand, you see Kaman going to the basket here. They have an opportunity. Kaman's going straight to the basket to get offensive rebounds. So as you let it roll, you have great offensive position where you can get it and have easy putbacks if you're the Los Angeles Clippers. And same thing, you get it again here, you're going up Corey Red, you freeze it right here, he's about to shoot, and if you notice, Mobley, no one's boxing him out because they're so used to playing the three-point line. But the next time they say, okay, I'm gonna try to box out Kaman, but you leave Mobley wide open, and as you let it go and you let it run, he's wide open by himself. Now Mobley comes in, and he has a stick back. So not only slowing the tempo down, it's hitting the offensive boards. It's so big against the Phoenix Suns.
Suns hit so many three-pointers in the first game. They were plus 24 from the arc. They're plus 9 in this game, but missing a lot from out there, Charles. What's the one thing? Is that one that stands out to you in the first half, or what is really grabbing your attention?
Well, the Suns going to live and die with the three. And if they're going to get hammered on the offensive board and give up layups, they're going to lose. Everything is dictated. Their whole game is predicated by offense. I don't think they even talk about defense at practice.
I think they do. They say, let's not play much defense.
No, but seriously, it's like sometimes it's like they let you score so they can get the ball out of bounds in a hurry. So if they don't make threes, they're not going to win. That's the key of it. Layups, alley-oop passes to Sean Marion and Dion, those guys going, or threes. When they're not making threes, it looks bad, especially against a team. They're making them pay down low. Coutinho's going to the basket. Kaman's kill him inside. Brand's kill him inside. But it's a very simple game. If you're going to beat the Suns, you got to slow the game down and hammer on the offensive board. Plain and simple.
65 points, the high in this postseason for a half for the LA Clippers, and they're up by 14 over the Suns. When we come back, we'll take a look at Game 2 between the Nets
Was that a game?
It was, I don't know how best to describe it, Magic. That's an excellent point, but the highlights are coming your way. Got to be encouraging for New Jersey to have Richard Jefferson play tonight and look good on the bad foot. 8 of 16.
Kenny, you got to dress like that, don't you?
Now,
check this out. This lady, I've seen this in person before. Ernie, you got to dress like that. No, but see, watch this. She does this. Are they going to just show it once? Or how many times? Okay. Check this out. Check this out. This is incredible. I've seen this in live before. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah, it would have impressed me if the whole dress had fell off.
Boy, that wasn't too predictable, was it, folks?
They won't impress me. The whole dress come off.
As we take a look at our Chrysler game summary, Phoenix has only hit 4 3-point shots so far. Look at the domination of the Clippers in the paint over the Suns tonight so far.
Well, the story's been offensive rebounding, Kevin. 15 offensive rebounds, of which they have 24 points. And you're going to see a little two-man game here. And nobody's going to block out Kaman. Elton Brand's got inside position on Marion, as does Kaman. As he gets to the board, he goes up strong. He's actually more adept with his left hand and around the basket. Now watch Sean Livingston here. He's going to make a strong drive to the basket. Kaman corrals the rebound. He missed it, but Barbosa's looking to run out, and Livingston hangs around on the glass and tips the ball in and gets the easy score. Here's Mobley, misses. This time it's Romanovich with the tip in. And it appears to me what's happened with Mike Dunleavy, instead of really sprinting back and worrying so much about the Suns' three-point shooting, he's keeping guys on that offensive board and said, look, we're going to make them pay inside. And normally the Clippers are not a good offensive rebounding team on the season. That has not been the case tonight. That's been the difference in the game.
So rebounding a huge emphasis for the Clippers. There's a steal by Diaw. Here comes Phoenix with their first second-half possession. Marion, who usually is great in second halves, and this is James Jones with a Kaman rebound. Kaman is out there with Cassell and Brand. Ross begins the second half in Mobley. That's the Clipper 5. Cassell. He exploded, you may recall, in game 1 in the second half with 21.
Well, you heard Magic Johnson in the studio. He said Sam Cassell got the team off to a great start and controlled the game. Here he is coming out in the third quarter, hitting the first shot. Give his team a 16-point lead. 2 misses here for the Suns already, and it just appear to be very flat right now, Kevin. I don't know what something is going to have to energize them. Right now, the Clippers are playing exactly the way they want to play.
Nash and Marion, Jones, Diaw, and Bell. The 5 for the Phoenix Suns. Minute gone here in this third quarter. 4 to shoot. It's Brand from Mobley.
Wide open shots. That time it was Mobley creating off the screen roll. Clippers in a great offensive rhythm. Elton Brand quietly has 15 tonight after 40.
That's a foul, and a hard one at that. Goes on Sean Marion. And the foul goes Craig Sager and Sam Cassell for the second time. What do you have?
Well, earlier in the broadcast, we mentioned that Mike D'Antoni was not happy at halftime of game 1. Well, tonight his temperament was even worse. He challenged his team. He said, are you guys tired? Are you guys happy? Are you feeling good about yourselves? And then he talked about the lack of defense, the lack of rebounding, and emphasizing the lack of effort. He said it all begins mentally. If you respond, we can get back in this game, and we'll be all right.
You know, Craig, it appears to me it just this 4-game run that they've been on, they've been on such a high, and they've just sort of taken a breath here, and the Clippers have jumped all over, and the question is going to be what's going to energize them tonight to get them going. Normally, it's their great 3-point shooting, but they've got to get some defensive stops to be able to get out and run and do that. How about in the first half, the Clippers missed 29 shots, 15 offensive rebounds for the Clippers. The Suns only had 12 defensive rebounds, so even when they forced them to miss, they couldn't rebound the ball and get out and run.
And part of that also, too, Doug, extends to the free throw line, where the Clippers have done a better job than the Suns, but the Suns have missed 4 free throw attempts tonight. Came in the screen and a Cassell 3. And the Los Angeles Clippers are spectacular so far over Phoenix.
It's almost like you're watching the San Antonio-Dallas game of last night. This is exactly what Dallas did into San Antonio.
Suns have won 4 consecutive games coming into tonight, including 3 elimination games against the Los Angeles Lakers. This is Brand.
Wow, they have just got it on automatic.
17 for Brand, 8 of 12 from the field. Diaw is open inside.
But you can't change baskets. I mean, now you've got to start getting some stops. You know, Steve Nash talked before the game. He said, hey, look, you know what? Game 1 was a huge win. We could make it easier on ourselves getting another win tonight, go up 2-0. If we lose, we could put ourselves in a hole exactly where we were against the Lakers.
Loss, that's the first Clipper miss in the second half. They had gone 4 of 4 until that miss, and here comes Nash. The other way, Steve with 5 assists. Kaman is out on Marion. Diaw cut to the opposite side.
See, I like what Marion did that time. He didn't shoot that quick 3 from the corner. Recognized he had Kaman. He drove the ball to the basket, and he got his partner Diaw a layup.
Quentin Ross, they don't cover him. Nice rebound offensively by Kaman. And a foul inside. It goes on James Jones. First foul on Jones out of the University of Miami.
It was sort of funny. Mike D'Antoni, when in the LA series, you know, Phil Jackson said, you know, basketball is still a big man's game. Well, after that series, Mike D'Antoni says, I'm going to go to a page of Disney. He says, it's a small world after all.
That's a foul. As Kaman was whacked across the face, he was taking it inside.
But tonight, it's a big man's game. You know, the Clippers inside are dominating. Kaman and Elton Brand in that painted area.
Sean Marion picks up his 3rd personal foul. There's a look at the coach of the Los Angeles Clippers, and he has done such a wonderful job in this, his 3rd year with the franchise. And while Elgin Baylor has brought and kept a lot of players here, it is truly got the fingerprints of Dunleavy all over it.
Well, he prides himself on getting his teams defensively prepared. And, you know, Kevin, it was a huge switch to go from locking in to Denver and Carmelo Anthony trying to slow him down, recognizing they had no 3-point shooters, to coming into a series like this. And, you know, maybe as much as they practiced, They weren't ready for the speed of the game and what they were going to be facing. They got themselves together, had a great practice. LUC Elgin Baylor, who was chosen by his peers this year as the general manager of the year, but they have made the adjustment, and they're doing a much better job tonight defensively.
And the Clippers are not a great individual defensive team.
They're a good team defense.
Right.
They're #1 in block shots. They do a nice job. They're in the top 4 in field goal percentage, top 5 in defending the 3. I don't think they were ready for the speed and the pace that they were going to see from the Suns.
Well, maybe not in game 1, but in game 2 they are.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. They've made the adjustment.
Here's Brand sliding off the side. Marion with the rebound. 4 minutes gone in the second half. Arjan Bell for 3. And the Phoenix Suns have just nailed their 5th three-point shot. And they are in +9 above the arc tonight over the Los Angeles Clippers.
Well, to win this game, they're going to have to be about +25 or 24 or 30 because the disparity in the paint and second chance points heavily in favor of the Clippers.
Kaman to Ross. Beautiful.
Well, Kaman can pass that ball when he just makes the simple play. He got the ire of his coach in the first half when he tried a behind-the-back pass.
Diao over Kaman, who is reaching inside.
I think the Suns would be thrilled if they could get this under 10 going into the 4th quarter. They feel like they'd be in striking distance.
Brand and Kaman. Tino Mobley, who's 5 of 12. Kaman, that's exactly what they need to do. And Doug, the guy you circled, Kaman, has already got the double-double with 12 points and 11 rebounds.
If he's going to play, he's got to get on the boards. He's got to get that ball in the paint and score. Otherwise, they have to go to a smaller lineup because he's not giving them the production. I think you got the message. Mike Dunleavy went to the bench early to Romanovich. He came back in, and since that point in time, he's done a nice job, a nice little give and go. He turned James Jones around, and Ross with a nice catch and finish.
Kaman just picked up his 4th personal foul. Radmanovich, as Doug said, is checked in for the Los Angeles Clippers. So Brand goes to the center. Radmanovich will play the power forward.
Had a good first half, 8 points, 5 rebounds, had 3 offensive boards.
This is Nash into Brand. Sam Cassell. The extra pass to Mobley, and it pays dividends as he knocks down a triple.
You run, you throw the ball in the post, you get the Suns collapse back, then you move it around and you hit the 3. You just don't come down and shoot the quick 3. Go inside, outside.
Nash to the trailing Diao. Boris Diao has put in 13 points.
See Sam Cassell, though, holding up his team. Okay, guys, take our time. We're going to walk it up. We've got an 18-point lead. We're going to go inside to Elton, play off of him, the double teams. Let the clock burn down a little bit, and we'll get good shots.
70% 3rd quarter right now going for the Los Angeles Clippers. The quick double on Brand. Inside, Ross rejected once, got another offensive rebound, and got it to go. And that has been the story of the Clippers tonight. The foul goes on Jones, and Ross will be at the line for Dunleavy's Los Angeles Ball Club. For tonight's In the City, presented by Dodge, your all-new 2000. Tonight, the Los Angeles Clippers have scored 26 more second chance points than Phoenix on 26 more overall rebounds. Well, they're controlling the glass, they're controlling the paint, everything that you thought they had to do against this high-flying Phoenix team.
Well, you know, Kevin, I know Charles Barkley's listening back in the studio. He always talks about rebounding. Well, Charles, I got a good stat here for you. In this game already, the Clippers have 17 offensive rebounds. The Suns have 16 total rebounds, which has led to them getting 16 more shots that you talked about. So the Clippers are shooting 52%, but have been so dominant on that offensive backboard. The Suns can't get out and run. They can't get any kind of tempo. They can't get their open threes that they get. The Clippers have only turned the ball over 5 times, so they've played a terrific game up to this point in time, done everything Mike Dunleavy has wanted them to do.
Ross completes a 3-point play with the free throw, and it's the biggest lead tonight for the Los Angeles Clippers in this game, too. It's Thomas in the game for the first time in the second half, and Bell with the 3. He's at 2 in a row above the arc.
They put Tim Thomas down in the post that time on Cassell. They had to double team, and that's what frees up those open shooters. Normally, you don't have to double team in the post against the Suns. You can play guys straight up down there.
Brand looking for Ross.
A little too unselfish on that, Kevin. Should have taken that shot. He had about a 10-footer.
Only the 5th turnover for the Los Angeles Clippers, and Marion inside diving and foul. With 5:04 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Well, give and go this time. Barbosa has been, I think, the one bright light here tonight for the Phoenix Suns. Every time he has come in, he's given this team a huge lift. He had 14 points in the first half. Well, the Suns are missing free throws tonight. It's 5 free throws. Remember, this is a team that was 24 of 25 the other night, had not missed until Steve Nash missed one in the 4th period.
We put up a graphic earlier in the game about all the guys over 89% from the free throw line in the playoffs for Phoenix.
It's focus and concentration when you start missing some free throws. Again, Kevin, I just...
maybe plays on what you're talking about.
Little flat tonight, and the Clippers, everybody's sharp. I mean, Ross is making shots, not hesitating. He has 11 points tonight. He has 5 field goals. All 5 starters now are in double figures.
Led by Cassell's 19 points for the Los Angeles Clippers and Tim Thomas over Radmanovich.
Remember the other night it was the Elton Brand, Sam Cassell show. They had 68 points, 40 and 28. Tonight, all the balance that you have. You got guys coming in off the bench doing a nice job.
Both teams shooting over 51% from the field for the game. Cassell is fouled inside, and Thomas got it. A couple of former Milwaukee Bucks going at it.
Crafty.
Yes.
Sam Cassell, just crafty. You know, he just takes his time, gets on the floor, gets you a spot, pump fakes you, gets you in the air, draws contact.
Sam's been around Houston, Phoenix, Dallas, New Jersey, Milwaukee, Minnesota, and now the Los Angeles Clippers. He came to LA in the sign and trade with Minnesota. And he'll be a free agent at season's end.
Well, I'm sure they're going to want to sign him. The question is how many years, because they have a young guy on that bench, Sean Livingston, who's going to be ready real soon to be able to step into that lineup. And I'm sure Sam would love to come back and be a part of this team.
Bosa is in, working on Mobley. Nope, foul on the wing. Did not count, will not count. Here's how good the Los Angeles Clippers are playing in this second half. The Suns are shooting 64% in this 3rd quarter. They trailed by 14 at the half, and now they're down 89-72, down by 17 points. The foul goes on Mobley for the 2nd time.
Well, we talked about their scoring, but they're not getting any stops at all. If they force the Clippers to miss, they can't grab a rebound.
Nash to Thomas. Ross was defending. Ross with number 2. 3:48 to play in the 3rd. So here's Tim Thomas at the free throw line for the Phoenix Suns. Thomas tonight, first trip. Suns as a team, 8 of 13. Friday, ESPN, Miami, New Jersey, and Phoenix Clippers. Saturday on ABC, San Antonio and the Dallas Mavericks.
Kevin, you and I will be Sunday night, game 4 of this series in LA. Prime time start. Oh,
did you see that? Cassell was given his former teammate with the Bucks, Tim Thomas, an earful, and there was no call. And you saw the shove by Thomas, but I think veterans like Jack Neese knew it was all in play, all in fun, and nothing malicious.
Well, Sam will talk to anybody. I mean, you know, he'll come over and talk to us during the game, so just be ready.
He has, actually.
Oh, yeah, he might want to know how he's doing and anything we see out there that he can that can help him tonight.
He's doing well. He's got 20 points and 5 rebounds and 6 assists. Here's Brand for Marion. Picked up by Thomas. The Suns have outscored the Clippers 10-3 over the last minute or so. Here is Leandro Barbosa. Rebound by Ross.
We haven't seen one of those patented Suns run, Kevin, and the reason we haven't is their defense hasn't been good enough for the rebounding to get into any kind of running game. Clippers have just sort of slowed them down here, getting the ball into the post. That's how you control tempo, use the clock. See, 5 seconds on the clock now. Cassell knocks that shot down. I mean, that's one of those, this is the way it's been all night long for the Clippers. Use the clock, Take your time, either get it inside, take the shot, go back and get it if you miss it, rebound the basketball. You know, Mike Dunleavy, I guarantee you, would have loved to have been able to know this was coming tonight. He would have slept a lot better last night.
They'll sleep well tonight if it continues. You know, the Suns, you just feel they have some kind of run left in them, Doug, in the second half. It's been their trademark throughout the season as Nash finds Thomas. And Radmanovic tries to get in front of Bell, who has just hit his third consecutive three-point shot for the Phoenix Suns. Bell is kind of keeping him afloat with 16 points. And now the difference in three-point shooting, plus 9 points for the Suns above the arc over the Los Angeles Clippers. There's another offensive rebound on the Cassell miss. It was Brand who vacuumed it in.
See, you play about 16 seconds of defense, you get a rebound, you get a new clock.
Lost the drive and a travel, I think. Let's see. Yep, travel. So these are former friends in Milwaukee. Sam tried to get a little inside the head of Thomas. Timeout. 2:01 to play in the third. Clippers have led by as many as 21. The Suns had an early lead of 2. We've got about 2 to play here in the third quarter. Game 2s have been interesting for the Suns in this version of the playoffs in the NBA. In their Game 2 against the Los Angeles Lakers, in terms of what they scored and points in the paint, compared to tonight's Game 2 against another team from Los Angeles, the Clippers, you can see some similarities.
Yeah, they were minus 15 points in the first half against the Lakers in Game 2 tonight, minus 14, and all the difference is points in the paint.
Diaw lost it inside and picked up by Coutinho Mobley. Turnover number 6 for the Suns, 7 turnovers by the Clippers. And for the Suns, that was their first turnover in this third quarter. Bell guarding Mobley, a shove and a miss, and a Mobley appearance coming up at the free throw line as Bell picks up a personal foul, number 2 on him. Minute and a half to play, Craig Sager here in the third. What do you have?
Well, you're talking about Sam Cassell nonstop talking, motor mouth as his teammates called. In the game on Monday night, it was a one-point game in the fourth quarter. He ran by assistant coach Alvin Gentry of the Phoenix Suns, say, "Hey, coach, I got Joe's number in Philadelphia for you. Let me give it to you." And Alvin Gentry says, "Not now. Talk to me after the game." I asked Mike Dunleavy if he ever gets tired of Sam nonstop talk. He says, "Not at all." He says he's always talking, but he's also coaching. He's like another coach on the floor for me. The players sometimes get tired of hearing me talk. It's another voice they can listen to.
Well, he's played, thank you, Craig, 13 years in the NBA and over 100 playoff games. And Sam has authored 9 of his 23 in this third quarter for the Los Angeles Clippers. Thomas to Barbosa, who ducked the defense of Radmanovic. Rebound by Livingston. Nash tonight has 12 points and 8 assists. Cassell's 23 is a game high, and both teams have shot well in this third quarter, 63%. With a foul inside, it goes on Bell.
You know how Steve Nash always controls the game for the Phoenix Suns. Gets them in everything they want, the running, the passing, knows when to shoot. Tonight, it's been Sam Cassell. He has orchestrated this game beautifully. He's taken his shots when they're there, known when to push the ball. See, Kevin, when you control tempo when you run for layups or you run for post-ups for Brand or for Kaman. Get that ball inside, which helps you get to the free throw line. If you don't have that, pull it back out, use some clock. And that's exactly what they have done tonight. They've selectively run. They've got the ball inside. And when they've missed, they've pounded the offensive board. So this has been a great job by Sam Cassell orchestrating his team tonight into this lead here as we go into the fourth period.
And he's also, in talking about the veteran leadership of Cassell, when he's handled the ball, 6 assists, no turnovers from the point guard of the Clippers.
So, you know, the Suns had 20 points off turnovers in game 1. Here's Nash going to the basket. Beautiful give and go. That two-man game, he and Diaw has been so perfect here in the playoffs, especially over the last 4 or 5 games.
No fouls to give either way. And 49 seconds to play in the third quarter. Bella's on Mobley. Mobley tonight 6 of 13. 19 points now.
See, he's a deceptive low post player. Now, when he played for the Rockets, they used to run a lot of isolation with Rudy T. They would post him. He's strong down there. He's got very long arms, and he's doing a nice job on that block against Raja Bell tonight.
Cross matchups both ways. These teams tonight. Diao ripped away by Brand. And a difference of 5 seconds. The game clock and the shot clock. Sam keeps looking over here at you. What kind of eye contact you having with him?
He just told me to be sure and watch what he's getting ready to do here. Make sure I don't miss it.
Right, okay. Livingston.
So now they're going against Livingston in the post against Barbosa. Get about a 6-inch advantage inside.
Here's Barbosa. He'll try to beat the buzzer over Livingston. Now does not. Well, we've already had road teams. Dallas winning last night in San Antonio, and the Nets winning tonight in Miami. Will the Clippers become the third road team to win in this second round? 30 points or more by the Los Angeles Clippers. Clippers led by 14 at halftime. They've pushed it to 19 at the end of 3. Clippers led by 16 at the end of 1. By 14 at halftime, they've got a 19-point lead as we head to the fourth quarter here in Phoenix. The NBA playoffs continue Sunday on TNT as the Clippers take on the Suns in Game 4. Coverage 7:30 Eastern Time. Doug, the Clippers have really strung together many good scoring quarters in this series so far. High-scoring quarters.
Well, we played 7 quarters thus far in this series, and the Clippers have 5 30-point quarters. Ironically, the Suns only 2 of 7 30-point quarters. That was in the second half the other night, 37 and 37 in the third and fourth quarters. They have no 30-point quarters. Remember, Phil Jackson talked about in the Lakers series, if they could hold the Suns to 1 30-point quarter per game, they thought they'd be in great shape. And you see the Clippers tonight, 2 of the 3, the Suns none. And so the game right now is being dominated by these Los Angeles Clippers.
Here's Bell, who's had some three-point shooting. In fact, really been the only consistent three-point shooter. He knocks down a mid-range jump shot right there. Moments ago, I said the Nets won tonight. Miami won tonight, but New Jersey won on the road Monday. Dallas won in San Antonio last night. So will the Clippers become the third team in the second round to win on the road? Lead right now, and an arching shot by Coutinho Mobley. Coach didn't pick him. 21 points by Mobley after going only 1 of 6 in Game 1.
That was over Sean Marion, too, who's a much bigger defender. Well, the Suns just tonight has not been a game for them. They're out of sync. Give a lot of credit to the Clippers.
Suns are now 7 of 18 shooting threes tonight. Brand's got 19 and 9. Radmanovic 3. 10th rebound by Brand. Inside the feed to Livingston.
Offensive rebounds, long shots. And Mike D'Antoni right now is just beside himself over there. Just, you know, why don't we have any energy here? Got a chance to go up 2-0 and been flat from moment 1. 22 points in the first quarter, down 16. They've been looking uphill the entire night.
Doug mentioned this early. 19 offensive rebounds by the Clippers, and the three-point shot won't go. Only 18 total rebounds by the Phoenix Suns tonight. That's mind-boggling.
Well, you know, you get second shots. You just get so many multiple shots. They've had 16 more shots at the basket right now than the Suns do. So you can just play volleyball, and that's exactly what they've done tonight.
Getty is in the game and had it knocked away. Quickly the other way, Raja Bell. Mobley there. Series has suddenly gotten very interesting.
What's amazing, I mean, Corey Maggette was so great off the bench tonight. I mean, he only has 2 points. They haven't really even had to use him. He's only played 11 minutes after being so brilliant in Game 1.
Shot clock at 2, and Mobley continues to shine with 23 points in 35 minutes.
I think he's got a little pride, don't you? After Game 1, I think he said, I better come back and show what I'm made of. Here's Tim Thomas, who knocks down the 3.
Especially the way Mobley played in the first round against the Denver Nuggets.
Well, you know, he had some good moments in that series. He was brilliant for them to start the season. Was averaging about 16 a game up until the All-Star break. He played a lot of minutes, and then in the second half of the season wasn't quite as sharp. But He's a good defender, and tonight he's getting in that low post and scoring at will.
Maggette. Shoving a defensive foul. Looked like Bell picked it up. He did, as Steve Nash is resting on the bench. He's got 14 points tonight and 8 assists on the floor, actually, is where he is right now, lying in that corner.
So you just don't have to post big guys. Just throw the ball down the block. This time it's Maggette. It's going to be an offensive foul pushing off. We've seen him post Mobley, Livingston, Cassell. You know, Elton Brand is not going to be the one who just gets all the post-ups. He's getting double teamed. When he does, he creates shots for everybody else. So the Clippers are posting about 4 or 5 different guys, also Kaman. So their post game tonight has been excellent.
Well, with 18 and trying to penetrate, and lost it with 8:47 to play in the fourth quarter. The leader, Sam Cassell, taking the young Livingston in his palms and trying to mold him in his own figure. That would be a pretty good move, too. Livingston listening to Cassell. As a young Steve Nash listened to Cassell here in Phoenix many years ago. Timeout. Let's check out tonight's Lamisil AT step-up play of the game, authored by Cuttino Mobley. One of the 3 players Doug Collins encircled to keep an eye on tonight for the Clippers if they were to win, and sure enough, Mobley has answered with 23. Chris Kaman has gone with 12 points and 11 rebounds. And Radmanovic, needed at certain times, has answered too with 8 points and 7 rebounds for LA.
Well, you think of Cassell and Mobley in the backcourt tonight. 17 of 27, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. Stepped up, and they've made 9 of 11 free throws, 9 assists, 46 points. Cuttino Mobley has been terrific tonight, and they need it definitely from him. And again, Kevin, it gets down to when you play Phoenix, you have to have such versatility where if they run one of your big men out of the game, your perimeter guys have to do a great job. And Radmanovic and Mobley stepped up tonight. Kaman played well. And Corey Maggette's been very quiet. They haven't even needed him tonight. Here's Mobley now going to work once again in the post. This time he's going to be called for traveling, but he's sort of their go-to guy. They're not even going to Elton Brand in the post right now. They're going to Mobley against Sean Marion.
Brand had the 40 points and literally carried the Clippers to the 7-point loss in Game 1. Mobley has had the best playoff game of his career tonight with the 23 and 8 rebounds, Doug. And Barbosa flying inside and fouled as he was taking it down the lane. Impressive numbers for the Clippers right on down the list.
Well, you see offensive rebounds, only 17 more second chance points, plus 29, which has given him 13 more field goal attempts. Free throws made, they're plus 6. So all the areas they lost in Game 1, they are dominating tonight. They lost all those areas big in Game 1, not tonight.
Brand picked up his 3rd foul. All right, that being said, and assuming we continue on the path we've been on all night long here in Phoenix, tied at 1, back to LA. What about Game 3?
Well, the team that loses, the other team always captures their attention. You've seen that already in the playoffs. You know, New Jersey goes in, wins Game 1. They get Miami's attention. They come back and win big. Dallas loses a close game in San Antonio. They come back and win big in Game 2. The other night in the game, Phoenix obviously got the Clippers' attention. They're winning big here tonight, so you would expect Phoenix to bounce back on Friday night. The question is, will it be good enough to be able to win on the road?
And you don't want to close the door too quickly on the Phoenix Suns, but they have only led for 21 seconds tonight.
Now this game, I just don't see the energy to come back, and right now it's just all working. Now they're going to Elton Brand, so this is going to be one of those games. It'll be interesting to see if Mike D'Antoni brings Steve Nash back in the game, or if he lets him get a rest here. He's played now 40 minutes a game, up from 35 a game in the regular season. So if his team can't make a push, we might not see Nash the rest of the night.
And Doug, it's interesting taking a look at the landscape of Game 2s in the second round. Mavericks won last night in San Antonio by 22. The Heat won tonight by 22 points. Clippers up now by 20 points. Nash is coming off the bench. Tim Thomas picked up his 4th personal foul for the Suns.
Well, Mike D'Antoni's probably going to make one more push. Give him about 3 or 4 minutes, and if they can't get the game, then they'll probably get him out of the game. There's no need to burn him out here tonight if it looks like they can't win the game.
Sean Marion with 13 points and 5 rebounds. One of his more quiet games of the playoffs. Thomas for 3. Well,
and those shots are contested. I mean, he's putting his hand in his face there. That's what the defender's doing as well, and he's knocking shots down.
Well, they were contesting the shots the other night, too.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Mike Dunleavy said, you know, it's one thing to make open shots. He said they were making contested shots. And you got it going like Tim Thomas does. You just have such great confidence. The problem is now you got to guard Elton Brand. I mean, Elton Brand is a load in there on that low block. I mean, he averaged 25 points a game on the season, and, you know, probably up until All-Star break was in the top 5 in the MVP voting this season.
Thomas picks up his 5th personal foul. It was interesting to see Pat Riley's comments tonight in Miami. The Heat built a gigantic first quarter lead, much like the Clippers have done here tonight in Game 2 against the Phoenix Suns. And Riley said my biggest concern was how are we going to hold this kind of momentum throughout the entire game. And you always think about that, but tonight the first quarter was certainly a very important quarter for the Clippers.
Well, it's the first time all year that they had a handle on the Suns and did not give them a big first quarter. And, you know, Kevin, a lot of people think the NBA is a fourth quarter game. I personally feel it's a first quarter game. The way you come out in that first quarter and establish yourself, the Clippers established the way they wanted to play tonight. They got Phoenix in a 16-point hole, 38-22, and never let them climb out of it. There's Donald Sterling, who has to be exceptionally happy that his team, it looks like they're going to even this series up and now have the home court advantage. Had they played the Lakers in the hallway series, they would have had the home court series advantage going in. Now it looks like they're going to wrestle it away from the Suns. Can the Suns go on the road and get it back?
It'll be a great scene, Game 3.
Oh, it'd be great. I mean, that's the beauty of the playoffs is every game takes on a different story. That's the beauty of the playoffs.
Diaw against Brand. Donovic got a hand on it. And came across him. Shot clock was down to 4 seconds. It's the Suns' first offensive rebound since late in the first quarter. Donovic picks up number 2. And then we look in the face of Sam Cassell.
Well, remember Mike Dunleavy said, you know, we've got to do a better job tonight not putting him on the free throw line. The Suns made 24 free throws in game 1. Tonight only 12. So they've cut that in half right now. I know there's still about 6.5 minutes to go. They did a much better job of not fouling.
Bell knocked away, and that's a Clipper foul. With 6.5 to play. Clippers tonight, at least to this point, have taken 12 more field goal attempts, too, than the Phoenix Suns have taken. Mobley picks up number 3. And Raja Bell will be at the free throw line. Philadelphia 76ers were the first team to give him an NBA taste on a regular basis, and it happened to be a year they were going to the finals against the Los Angeles Lakers. And you take a look at the way the rest of the games in this series would map out over the next week and a half.
Well, we can watch the terrific coverage on ESPN on Friday night. We'll have the game Sunday, Monday, and then ESPN again on Game 6. And if there's a Game 7, we get Game 7. So if this series goes down to the wire like the Lakers and the Suns, we would have Game 7 here on Monday night. Actually, a 3-day break between Game 6 and 7.
Plenty of time left as we're approaching 6 to play in the fourth. Radmanovic, he has got 10 points in 25 minutes. He's been important off the bench.
I've always felt he's been more than a three-point shooter. Nash steps back and misses the 3. I thought in Seattle, Vlade ran, fell in love and became a specialist for that three-point line. He's 6'9". He can drive that ball to the basket. He doesn't have to be a home run hitter every single time.
Nash 0 of 2 shooting three-point shots tonight. Brand, travel. Well, you've always talked about Radmanovic and a guy that underachieved a little bit. Maybe this will wake him up coming to L.A.
Well, I think he's enjoying his time here in L.A. I think he likes the city. I think he likes the way he fits into this team. Sometimes you need to change the scenery. You get locked into a team, you move somewhere else. Chris Wilcox did very well in Seattle. Vladdy's done a nice job here. We'll see if they re-sign him.
Timeout. Back in Phoenix, it's Game 2. The Suns lead the series 1-0, but looks like the Clippers are closing in to tie it at 1 apiece. 5:44 to play in the fourth.
Well, one of the things they've done, they've been much more aggressive on Steve Nash with some of these pick and rolls, especially with he and Diaw. And you're going to watch how Elton Brand gets back, and look how they're controlling the paint. You got Vladimir Radmanovic back in there, Coutinho Mobley. They get out on the floor, pick up this loose ball. So they've really done a nice job of that bread and butter play. It looks like Steve Nash is through for the night. I think it's a great move. Sean Marion is out of the game. There's no need to run these guys in this situation tonight. You got to come back and play on Friday night. And then the balance. So look at this. Cassell, Mobley combined for 46. Brand 23 after 40 the other night when it was 18 of 22 from the floor. Came in with 12. Ross with 11. A nice play by both Sean Livingston and Romanovich off the bench. So this has been a total team effort. You know, Kevin, when you think of Phoenix, normally you think if you can hold them under 100, you got a great chance to beat them. I think in this series you're talking more about 105, 106 points. You heard Magic Johnson talking in the studio, and they're on the pace to be able to do that. The Clippers can score, but they can win the game at 107, 108, 109 points. They're not going to win it at 120 or 130 like they were in Game 1, and they've done a magnificent job in every phase of the game tonight.
Well, at the top of the broadcast, you were talking about the great balance in the Phoenix scoring in Game 1, just the opposite tonight, as you point out. A lot of great scoring by the Los Angeles Clippers. The Suns have brought in Brian Grant and Eddie House. Diaw is in there with James Jones. Grant denies the pass. Cassell picks it back up and floats in for a try. Out of bounds it goes. Look like Nash is gone for the night, as is Raja Bell.
Just put a little stamp on this rebounding number. The Suns have 20 rebounds for the game. The LA Clippers have 51 plus 31 rebounds. They've taken 12 more shots, 19 offensive rebounds to 3, 30 to 4 points, second chance points. I mean, you're not going to win with those kind of staggering numbers against you on the boards.
Came in with the interception. That's as soundly a beating as any playoff team that we have at least seen this year on the glass.
Brian Grant here in the game gets a little foul off the ball on Elton Brand. Mike Dunleavy, who actually coached Brian Grant in Portland when they had the chance to go to the Western Conference, says no team has finished a game with more offensive rebound than opponents' total rebounds. Tonight, the Clippers 19 to 20. We might see that here tonight, unless there's too much garbage time. Got to give my man Marv a little shout out there with his garbage time.
Jones picked up by Radmanovich. And 4.5 to play in the game. Crowd was never in the game tonight either.
Well, they were diffused in the first quarter. I mean, I've said all along that this crowd lives off the Suns shooting and their offense, and tonight the Clippers never let them get into that kind of game. Look how aggressive they are off those screen rolls here tonight, getting in the passing lanes. Look at the shot that Eddie House is going to have to take here. It's actually blocked.
By Cassell, you're right. You know what, Doug, now the Clippers will have a blueprint on how to handle these screen rolls come Game 3 and beyond.
I think Mike D'Antoni knows that though a game like tonight is a lot Clippers defensively, but it's also a lot of what his team doesn't do. They never got out of the gate. Chris Kaman is getting an earful from Mike Dunleavy. He got a rebound and threw it away. And you see Mike D'Antoni there. I mean, it's obviously very disappointing. Just the moods of coaches up and down in the playoffs. It was Mike Dunleavy after Game 1. Tonight it's Mike D'Antoni. That's the ebbs and flows. There's Steve Nash, the MVP. You know he's going to come back strong. He's always the encourager. He'll go in that locker room and let his guys know, the guys that wasn't good enough tonight, we got to be better. Like he did, remember, after he made the turnovers in Game 4 in LA when they went down 3-1, it looked like it was devastating. And they bounced back and won 3 straight. It's a very resilient team.
Grant picked up his second personal foul. And the Clippers had those 6 days off, you know, between the time they took care of the Denver Nuggets in round 1, 4-1. The Suns faced 3 consecutive elimination games, winning the 7-game series with the Los Angeles Lakers. But they ended one night, had a night off, and they played the very next. I mean, they had gone every other night for a while here.
When you think about it, San Antonio did the same thing. Right. Dallas had the time off, and San Antonio won Game 1. Within the fresh legs, came back last night. Dallas in Game 2 and won that game big. So I've always said I'll take rest versus rust any day in a long 7-game series.
Approaching 3 to play in the 4th quarter. Elton Brand has 24 and 10, 26 and 10 rebounds.
Well, he gets great extension on that jump shot. I mean, he can be played by a bigger man and still elevate. And those long arms just get that shot off.
Brand scores so many of his points, more than half outside the lane. James Jones. Kamen corrals the rebound, number 14 for him.
He's had a terrific night. 12
Just
points,
exactly
14 rebounds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he needs to bring. Nothing spectacular.
Right. Well, folks, tonight we're without one of our teammates, our director Lonnie Dale, who is with his family tending to the funeral arrangements for his father who passed away yesterday. Lonnie, your thoughts and prayers are with you from all of us at TNT Sports and the entire NBA. Complete domination by the Los Angeles Clippers tonight in virtually every category, especially in rebounding. Every starter in double figures. Great performance by Cassell and Brand and Mobley. And here are the things, Doug, you were zeroing in on to begin our broadcast tonight.
Well, it started in the first quarter. The Clippers came out defensively. As a result, the Suns only 92 points tonight. Avoid temptations tonight. They have plus 15 on the offensive board, plus 18 points in the paint. They took their time. They used the clock. They shot a very high percentage. Only 12 turnovers for 10 points. And you got to take something away. In game one, 48 points in the paint for the Suns tonight, only 36 points from three, 36 to 27. So there's 21 points in that area right there alone. You take free throws, there's 9 in that area. So 30 points in those 3 areas that the Clippers have held the Suns below what they did in game one.
James Singleton is checked in. Daniel Ewing is coming for the Los Angeles Clippers. Here is Nicholas Skidishvili, and he misses a shot. He's in for the Phoenix Suns. Grant, Skidishvili, Barbosa. That's a 2-point shot. Suns had missed their last 8 until that hit right there. We're 2 minutes to play in regulation. A 20-second timeout taken by the Los Angeles Clippers.
Well, that's so Elton Brand. Mike Dunleavy, if you can get Elton Brand out of the game and get Vlade Romanovich in the game. Elton Brand, just a workmanlike job tonight. 27 points, did a great job on the boards, and has to be very proud of his teammates as they've stolen the home court advantage.
The NBA playoffs will take a rest tomorrow. They go dark. Then on Friday, you've got Game 3, Miami and Jersey, and Phoenix and the Clippers on Friday. Both those games on ESPN. Saturday, Detroit, Cleveland, and ABC will give you San Antonio, Dallas, Game 3. Prime time, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Radmanovich over Jones. Barbosa with the rebound. Clippers in Game 1 shot 59% and lost by 7. Tonight they have shot 53% and led by double digits most of the game. Singleton on Jones. Skidishvili is picked up by Chris Kamen. A couple lottery picks going head-to-head and a foul. That goes on Kamen. Well, Magic Johnson will join the crew in studio with E.J., Kenny, and Charles. Charles, David, Blaine, Barkley. I kind of contended he had not left. He would have stayed there more than his 23 seconds. Then I would also say probably not. Skidishvili was a lottery pick by the Denver Nuggets. He's floated around a little bit. He's been a huge disappointment. He's also had some injuries since he's been in the NBA, and now he's with the Phoenix Suns. He was picked up in February.
You know, he's pretty fortunate because he's getting a lot of chances, and I think a lot of the reason is because he was such a high draft pick. A lot of people are giving him chances. Here's Chris Kamen, just 14 points, 15 rebounds.
Brian Grant. Clippers trailed tonight 2-0. Their big lead climbed as high as 24 points. In the last 29 minutes, they held their lead in double digits.
Daniel Ewing's got to get a shot up here. You get in the game here in the playoffs, get a chance to Get your first shot up there. Singleton knocks that shot down. Daniel Ewing played at Duke. Actually, 4 guys on this team either signed with Duke or played at Duke. Coach K was here the other night watching his guys. Very proud of them.
So the road team has won again here in the second round.
Got to take a shot here, otherwise they'll get a violation.
Yep.
So I think Daniel's going to finally get a shot up here. His first playoff shot.
Ewing will drive on House. The reverse is in. Nice play by Daniel Ewing.
He's a great kid. I loved him. You get a chance to watch him play. He's a wonderful young guy.
10 different Clippers scored tonight. 10 points by Radmanovich off the bench. Game high 27, or Clipper high 27 points by Elton Brand. And scoring under 100 points, the Suns. And Doug, we know what happens when that happens.
Well, they're undefeated when they score over 100, and they have not won when they haven't. 0-4, so that has been a magic mark after getting 130 tonight, only 97. Great job by the Los Angeles Clippers.
And Coutinho Mobley, who had 23, our closer of the game, presented by TNT's, the closer, starting June 12th. Coutinho, after going 1 of 6 in game 1, finishes strong tonight. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, you had 6 players in double figures. You leading the way with 27 points along with 10 rebounds. Talk about the way you guys started this game, set the tempo, and pretty much had your will from the start.
You know, we started off well. You know, we set the tempo early, set our tone. You know, we out-rebounded about at least 30 boards tonight, which, you know, was imperative. We hit the rebounds, hit the offensive rebounds, hit the defensive boards, and that gave us a big advantage.
The fact that you guys were able to keep your big men on the floor, Chris Kaman playing so well, that's an advantage that you guys obviously have. It's only one game, but how has your confidence changed after this win?
You know, our confidence never really, you know, was beside us. We had confidence the whole time. We played them well the first game, but we let them score too many points. So tonight we wanted to make those adjustments that we watched tons of film on, and it worked for us tonight.
You did watch a lot of film. I was waiting for you guys in practice. Talk about what impact Sam Cassell has on your team and also on tonight's game.
Oh, man, Sam Cassell's a great leader. You know, we never get too high. We never get too low with him out there on the helm. And, you know, he plays great. He hits big shots, and, you know, I'm glad he's on our squad.
All right, thanks a lot. He'll be with the guys in the studio later on as well. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Craig. Our producer tonight, Scott Cockrell, and a special thanks to Howie Singer, who was flown in from the game in San Antonio last night. He is the lead director for the New York Knicks on the Madison Square Garden Network. Howie, thank you. Great job tonight. For Doug Collins and Craig Sager and the rest of our crew, I'm Kevin Harlan saying good night from Phoenix, Arizona. This series is tied at 1-1 as we send you to Atlanta and Ernie Johnson.
It is time for Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai, the perfect way to end another doubleheader playoff night here on TNT. Ernie Johnson, along with the Hall of Famer Magic Johnson, Hall of Famer Charles Barkley, and Kenny the Jet Smith, a two-time NBA champion. 122-97, the final score as the Clippers even the series with Phoenix as it now goes to Staples Center, all tied up at a game apiece. And guys, I don't know exactly which facet you want to talk about, but one thing, the inside game for the Clippers tonight was unbelievable, and they're just banging the offensive boards like crazy. They had 19 offensive rebounds. Phoenix had 26 rebounds total in the game. This was total domination inside, man.
Well, they had to do it. When you think about what Elton Brand was able to do in game 1, you knew that it was going to pay special attention to him. And so what happened was, Chris Kaman was allowed now to roam free. He used his size and his weight to dominate inside, as well as Coutinho Mobley got inside. He got some offensive rebounds. But what I was impressed with was their patience on offense, realizing that they do have an advantage in height, and they utilize that to their advantage. And Sam Cassell and Mobley was the key for the domination inside because they were hitting their shots outside, and when they missed, they was just getting offensive rebounds.
Speaking of Sam Cassell, he is standing by live out there in the desert with the series tied at a game apiece and coming off a 23.5 rebound, 6 assist night. Sam, that was your 110th playoff game in your career. We appreciate you sticking around to talk to us. And what we've seen after these games, you gather these guys around you. You are the leader of that team. You've got all the playoff experience. What was your message to them tonight after you even the series?
I just told the guys simple. I said, we didn't do nothing big. We just held serve. Now, we just got to take it back to L.A. and take advantage of it. You know, the playoff doesn't start, in my aspect, until you win a road game. And we got an opportunity to win a game today, and we go back to L.A. and see what happens.
Hey, Sam, this is Irv. What's up, man?
What's up, Magic?
Hey, everything good. I said before the game that I thought you would be the key as well as Mobley and Kaman, and all three of you stepped up big tonight. What did you say to the guys when you entered the locker room after game one? What did you feel you had to do and those other two guys had to do to win this game tonight?
Well, I just told them we got to slow the pace down. I heard you guys talking last night about we can't win a game if Phoenix scoring 120 points, and you're exactly right. So my job was today just slow the pace down, try to get a great shot every time down the court. And tonight, 90% of the time, we got that too.
Hey, Sam, but it looked like you guys made a concentrated effort on defense because actually he shot 60% in game one and scored 100 and almost 20 points. But you guys, they shot 55%. How much did y'all look at film the last couple of days and make changes?
Well, you're right, Charles. They got a lot of layups against us in game one, and we just had to just make Steve Nash work harder on the offensive end. You know, he's so clever with the basketball, and his teammates, they stayed spaced so good. But we stayed together, stayed poised, and made it tough for him tonight. He didn't have the easy layups he had in game one. 2
S's, 2 L's. The king of L.A., whatever, all the nicknames that I'm going to call you. But, you know, we said that it was going to be difficult for a 120-point game, but you guys scored 122 points. But the one thing is stopping them for the 97, as you and Charles just talked about. You said the layups. But what else did you make an effort? You said, how do you stop a guy like Steve Nash? How do you stop a team if you're still scoring 120 points? So that means there was enough possessions for them to score well, too.
Yeah, well, we did an excellent job today just making it hard for him. You're not going to stop Steve because he demands the ball so much. He controls the ball. So we just want to make it difficult for him and let other guys beat us tonight. They didn't make as many threes as they made in game one, and I think that's how we won the basketball game tonight.
Hey, Sam, once upon a time, you and Tim Thomas were teammates in Milwaukee, and tonight he's at the foul line, and it looked like you just had something to say to Tim. Can you take me through that little episode?
Yeah, definitely. Got to be, you know. I'm trying to get in his head. I'm just trying to get in his head and see what happens.
Well, what'd you say?
I don't know what I said. I talk so much on the basketball court, so, you know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Chuck, you know what I mean. I talk so much, so whatever I said, it didn't work because he made both free throws.
You know, I tell you what, I always tell people, this guy obviously he's a heck of a player, but he's got one of the best personalities. And I've been on the Clipper bandwagon. When I said it, Ernie Kenny started laughing. Tell Kenny, get back at him right now, Sam.
All right, baby. All right, Chuck.
I talked to him enough. I know exactly what's going on.
Yo, you just keep staying with us, baby. You keep staying with us, baby. Listen, I know you're pulling for us.
When I watched you guys play out the season, I said, man, I said, Elton Brand is fantastic. I love Chris Kaman. But I said, Sam Cassell brings something that Magic brought to the Lakers, Bird brought to the Celtics, and Michael Jordan brought to the Bulls. A great player and a swagger, and you bring the swagger to the Clippers.
Yeah, hey, Charles, I appreciate that. You put me in that category. Hey, man, one day I might be a Hall of Fame and you keep talking like that.
Last thing I want to throw at you, you're going home for 2 games, though. And a lot of these guys on your team, Sam, have not been there. You have, but probably the rest of them have not. What are you going to tell them for game 3 and 4 to get them ready? Because you know Phoenix is a great road team.
They coming, man. Like I told the guys, and I gathered the guys in the huddle after the game. I said, hey, we didn't do anything big today. We held serve, but we got to take advantage of the home court advantage right now. Because we do that, we can come back here up 3 games to 1 and see what happens after that.
I just want to ask you, I know this is it for you in terms of your contract. You look like you found a home. You want to stay with the Clippers after the season?
Hey, man, I'm just playing basketball right now, so, you know, the Clippers, they got to step up to the plate, you know what I'm saying? I don't want $25 million a year. I want some kind of million. I'm working hard. Hey, Chuck, I'm working hard, Chuck. Hey, Gift, I'm working hard,
you
baby.
Said some, you don't mean $1 million either, do you?
That's right. Hey, I need mine.
There it is, 2 S's, 2 L's, baby. Hey, Sam, congratulations, man.
Thanks, Chuck. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Magic.
All right, baby.
Thank you, Stan. We appreciate that. So the Clippers even the series 122-97, the final tonight. What do we look for now in Game 3 as this goes to Staples Center, Chuck?
It's easy. That's the interesting thing about the Suns. They play one way. And tonight was a bad game. And when they don't make shots, it looks worse than it is. Everything on them is dictated on how many threes they get. And number one, they got to find a way to not give up so many offensive rebounds. That was the big difference in the game. When you give up that many offensive rebounds, you're going to have problems because they probably got, you know, the same offensive points from Elton Brand and those guys. But when you get hammered on the offensive board, that makes they getting 2 chances for your every one.
Yeah.
And it compounded. But Phoenix, they don't make adjustments.
They didn't get the rebounding from Marion.
Yeah.
Dial that they.
But they don't make Phoenix. They're gonna try to go faster.
Yeah, but I think that too. Let's give Coach Dunleavy some credit here. A settled change. He moved Ross over to Nash and freed up Cassell where he could now don't have to chase Nash all over the court on defense. And I thought that move was a key for the pressure that Ross put on Nash. Not to say to stop him, just make him work harder. And that really worked out for the Clippers, I thought.
54% shooting on the night for L.A. The series is tied at a game apiece. When we come back, the Nets and the Heat playing Game 2 in Miami.